Hi, today I'm going to show you my routine with the outdoor cats that we do in the evening. I will be giving them fresh water, and just before I go in, I'll give them treats. So I know Pork Chop's over there. You can see him on his bench over there, and we'll see if winter comes around. But here's the water, and we just use a dish like this. It's big, so the raccoons can't dump it over. They've never dumped it over yet, I don't think. And we've had it for years, but the raccoons, they wash their hands in it or dip their food or whatever in the summer. So we give the cats fresh, and you should be giving your cats fresh water anyway, even if raccoons aren't an issue. Especially when it's hot out. It was 82 still when I came outside. So we will give them some fresh water. And then hope they come around so you can see them. Pork Chop's on his way right now. I'm going to sit here, my favorite spot. So I don't know why he was a little scared just then. He kind of gets scared whenever I stand up or do any moves. So this is Winter. He's a little bit more friendly, but he's still, I would consider, semi-feral. So in the evenings, I come out and pet them. And of course, they need to know how cute they are. See how they rub on each other like that? These cats are best friends. Winter is about 2 years old, I think. Oh, I know he is. He's like 2.5. So he showed up in the winter of 2021 in November. And he was a little teenager kitten then. And Pork Chop, the orange cat, he's been out here since 2017 or 2018. I would have to check his TNR paperwork. So they're best friends and they enjoy being petted. I'm the only one that can pet them. They're known as like feeder friendly cats because I'm their feeder and I talk nice to them. So they have grown to like me. And Pork Chop's pretty timid. Like when I stand up, he'll run off the deck. So I like to give them outdoor time every night. Of course, I feed them breakfast in the morning, but they're usually so hungry in the mornings that they don't want petted then. And they're so hungry because if there's food out at night, the raccoons and possums eat it. Like they're not the ones eating the leftover food. And I'm hoping Pork Chop will come closer. So I set up the tripod earlier because when I tried this a couple weeks ago, they were scared of the tripod and wouldn't let me pet them. So Pork Chop might be a little nervous. I think he's looking at the tripod. And Winter just licked my arm. There's a robin over there, so I don't know if you can hear it chirping. Hoping my microphone is still performing well because the neighbors have quite a loud air conditioning unit. And since it's so hot, it's running all the time. And another thing I like to do, Pork Chop looks suspicious, doesn't he? Sometimes Winter will have stuff caught in his fur. So you can see he's longer haired. So I don't feel anything tonight, but he will let me run this little brush through him, and it usually gets out the little seeds or sticks or whatever it is that he lays on. Or burrs. Sometimes they get burrs, and Pork Chop gets mats sometimes. Like right here's one that came off, that big orange. Oh, I can't see it because this was a mat I got off of Pork Chop. And so Pork Chop doesn't really like this. I think it pulled on his skin once. So, like I said earlier, I'll give them treats. Sometimes they go over there and eat together after I come out. They're kind of copycats. And that green there, that's the back side of the food shelter. And we have that so they can always eat and be dry when they're eating. So even if it rains, they can still eat, or snows. They are dry. And now they're just going to hang out and ignore me, which happens sometimes too. They let me pet them for a few minutes and then they're kind of done with me. But they might still come back yet. Sometimes I sit out here for half hour or an hour. So hopefully you can see them down there. And sometimes Pork Chop will come back, but Winter will not. So that's pretty much the routine. Just give them some attention. It's good if your outdoor cats at least like the person who feeds them. It just makes it easier if you need to treat them for anything. But if these cats need assistance, they would still have to be trapped. Like when Winter was younger, I could get him into a cat carrier. But now if I try to pick him up, he immediately tries to bite my arm. So I don't think I could push him into a cat carrier. And one time, Pork Chop had a hematoma in his ear. If he comes back, I can show it to you. It's like scar tissue now. And I thought, oh, I can pet him, so I'll be able to put him in a cat carrier. Nope. And thankfully, I had a winter coat on that day. Otherwise, he would have deeply bit my arm. So we had to use a trap, the drop trap, to catch him. And then the vet said, oh, just put the anti-flea stuff on him. And he thought it was from ear mites. Sometimes for hematomas, they do surgery, but they didn't think Pork Chop would do well with recovery time. And then I would have had to take him back to get the stitches out. And it was not my regular vet. And I think maybe this vet wasn't as experienced with feral cats. But eventually the problem went away and he just has scar tissue. And they're also not used to me talking this much. So that's a little different for them in their routine tonight. You might be able to see there's milkweed down there. Now I think milkweed is poisonous to cats if they were to eat it. I think these cats are too smart for that. We've never had any problems. And we like the milkweed to help the butterflies. So every year we have at least a handful of monarch butterflies out here. Oh, I can pet you more? Good. Who's a good boy? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. And I made a video last week. The area that I cleaned up is right, it faces me. So if you want to watch that video too, you could. I'll put a link to it in the comments. And he's just going to hang out. And Pork Chop looks too busy for me down there. So I just sit out here and sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. I think Pork Chop is nervous about the tripod because that's different. These outdoor cats, any type of change, I mean, the same with indoor cats. Anything that you change can make them feel nervous or weary. Is that the right word? So this is what we do. If you have any questions about the outdoor cats, please just write me a comment and I will respond. I like watching them too. It's always interesting to see what they might do. So Winter went into the food shelter on the front side. Now if I took the tripod around there, Winter would definitely be afraid. Usually if I just put my hand down, Pork Chop comes over here. What do you think about my posture? Am I getting slumped shoulders already? So these are not my favorite cat slippers. I have other slippers that are my favorite. These ones have plastic bottoms, so they're nice. Or maybe it's rubber. Anyway, it's solid bottoms, so I can wear them outside. They're cute. Yeah, I got them at Land's End several years ago. But the problem is, like on the sides in here, like the sole, I'm not sure what the upper part of the sole's called. Like it's too narrow. Like it kind of has like a lip on it, and it pushes into the side of my feet, and then I get sores at the bottom there from it. So usually I'll only wear these outside. It's my other ones that are my favorite slippers are wool. They don't have plastic or rubber bottoms, so they're not great for wearing outside. But they're getting pretty old, so sometimes I wear them outside anyways. If you've seen my pictures on Instagram or Facebook, he's normally like right in front of me here, and he doesn't really make eye contact with me this close because that's one of his rules he has. But he lets me pet him, and then winter comes and goes. So this is interesting about the tripod. He says nope. Either that or he's being really nosy with the neighbors. I think the neighbor might have went inside. If I try to approach him, he would definitely run. So now they're just going to hang out there, down there together, and ignore me until I get out the treats. And then I think they'll come for treats. This was a little unexpected that Pork Chop wasn't here with me. That's why I was sitting here. So obviously you can see my belly. It's not very flattering for me. And if you're wondering, I'm just fat. I'm not pregnant. Working on it. It's a goal. It's more fun to be out here with them when they let me pet them. So maybe I'll give him some treats. And that's the car with the muffler problem. I don't know if you can hear that. My husband thinks the person made it loud on purpose, but it's a college student, we think. Anyway, when I walked by, there's like a chain or a rope holding up the muffler that has like a hole in it. So I don't know if it was really intentional. I think it was just a cheap fix. You guys want petted? Hi. I love how their ears move when they hear me talking. Pork chop. Oh, pork chop's ears didn't move then. And you can see it looks like Winter might be stalking something. I can't see what he's looking at. Sometimes we have mice out here, even though we live in a city. We still get mice. I think people do not appreciate outdoor cats enough because they definitely help keep down the rodent population. So there's something in that weed. Like Winter will chase anything, like ants, any type of bug, like pretty much anything that moves. I think it's just because, I mean, he's a younger cat, and that's what they do. So I might either clean up those vines down there. I don't want him getting tangled up in them. When I made my cleanup video, I did clean around the vines away from the entrance to the food shelter. But I didn't realize that he would be playing in there. Hi, Pork Chop. Are you going to fall asleep? See, I thought my patience was going to be rewarded. We'll see if he comes back. So he went around to the step. When we had this deck made, We only put a step on the end. We probably should have put a step all the way around. But we didn't. We didn't think of it. Well, he's closer anyway. Maybe he's thinking about it. See, now the neighbor's definitely outside. Here he comes. I just put my hand down and he walks right into it. Like, see how he booped me right there? He really likes to be petted. He's just a nervous cat. But sometimes pork chop will purr. Now, I haven't heard Winter purr in years, maybe never. He might have purred when he was a teenager kitten. I'm not really sure if I remember. I've definitely not heard him purr as an adult. But pork chop here will purr. And this is what he does. He doesn't get too close. I am able to put the anti-flea and tick medicine on him once a month or every 6 weeks. I don't always do it every 4 weeks. But I think he had ear mites recently. Like he had these black things on his ear, which I think were ear mites. Because it seems to be getting better after I put the stuff on him. So I really do need to keep up on it. Sometimes I just forget. Even though I have it in my phone, I need to make a reminder in my phone. I just have a list of all the dates I've done anything for them. So this is more typical of how it goes. With pork chop wanting to be petted, booping into my hand, and Winter stays down there, or he's usually under the bushes over here. But pork chop does not like to be brushed, but occasionally I do use it on his mats. And Winter seems to like it when I try to get the stuff out of his fur. I think it's cat fur or cat hair or both. See, and sometimes he gets closer. He likes his head rubbed. You a good boy? Who's a good boy? And see right that this is the ear that had the hematoma. You can see it's kind of thick at the top. And that was from the scar tissue. So the hematoma is like trapped blood or fluid or something. So when he first had it, it was like a big bubble in his ear. And that was during the winter too. He's okay now. It doesn't really seem to bother him. Like sometimes I can touch his ears like that. He does have a few mats back there, but I'm not going to try to get him out tonight. I'm not sure why he gets mats. I don't know if it's because he's a heavier cat or something about his age or how he sits in the woods sometimes. And Winter's just down there being beautiful too. And he probably will stay away from me until I get out the treats. Yeah, he's nervous about the tripod. Yeah, it's fine. I know it's something different. So the first time I tried to make this video, it was around 4th of July and got everything set up. And then some neighbor let off fireworks. So I had to redo it because Pork Chop got so scared that he didn't come back. He was there in the morning for breakfast, but he went underneath the deck and just hid. I don't know how long. So if you have any questions, you can just let me know. I hope you subscribe to my channel. Right now we have the 2 outdoor cats and the 6 indoor cats. Yeah, sometimes he licks me. So I always wash my hands after I go in the house before petting the indoor cats. I think it'd be very rare to transfer anything to them, but better safe than sorry. And one time I did bring in ringworm from Pork Chop. So I didn't know it was ringworm when he had missing fur. And then a couple months later, the indoor cats got ringworm. And Buster had it pretty bad, so I had to take him to the vet. And at that time, I still didn't know it was ringworm. And then Buster got medicine, and then all the other cats got ringworm too. Not all of them had to be treated. Buster or Charlotte had to be treated. Anyway, so I just try to be careful. I think Winter's going to go back asleep, so he might be done. As in, Pork Chop might be done wanting to be petted. So if you like this type of video, I can certainly make more. I'm going to do more videos where I paint a rock with a cat on it and tell you a story. So be on the lookout for one of those next. He's just a nice cat. Well, he seems nice. He was only nice with me, which can be hard to explain to people sometimes. When they demand I find indoor homes for these two cats, well, I think they would be miserable indoors. So we just do the best we can for them outside. As long as they stay in my yard, they are safe. I can't keep them in the yard. It's not fenced. And it's not really ideal lot to have a fence. I mean, we have all these trees they can climb up anyway to get over a fence. It's complicated. See how he's breathing kind of fast? I think it's because he's nervous. It's either that or he has some kind of heart murmur or some other condition, but being a feral cat or semi-feral, it's very hard to treat them. So I just keep an eye on them. It's not getting any worse, and I think it might be nerves. Because when I see him out the window when I'm not out here, like sometimes he sits on this, he's not breathing like that. You guys ready for your treats? Who wants a treat? I just love how their ears move when I talk. Okay, let's do treat time. So when I stand up, he's going to run away because that's just how he is. So these are the treats. And hopefully you can see me. See how, yeah, they're triggered by the sound of the bag. There you go, boys. Enjoy your treats. Normally I would not come back out after giving them their treats. I just give them their treats and then go inside. I had to come back out to get the camera. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends.